Well, hello and welcome. My name is James Martinez. I am the admissions counselor for the University of Houston College of Pharmacy. And joining me today is Dr. Trivedi. Dr. Trivedi, if you would please introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, I'm Meghna Trivedi, and I'm an associate professor of pharmacology and pharmacy practice in the Department of Pharmacy Practice and Translational Research, and also I have a joint appointment in the Department of Pharmacological and Pharmaceutical Sciences.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for meeting with us today. This is one of many projects that we have working in student services, and this is a really big deal for us to really provide more information for incoming students or prospective students as they consider research opportunities. So Dr. Trivedi, if you would, can you give me a description of your research focus?
Sure. I do laboratory-based, basic, and translational research, as well as clinical research. And my lab research is focused on target and drug discovery in treatment of breast cancer. As you know, cancer treatments have severe side effects. And what we're trying to do is to identify novel protein targets and drugs that have better safety profile. My clinical research has focused on identifying predictive markers of efficacy and toxicities to improve treatment outcomes in cancer patients. And within that, an important area is to assess and improve medication adherence to oral treatments, anti-cancer treatments in cancer patients. All PharmD students who have done research with me so far have only focused on the clinical research with me as it's more relevant to their degree program.
Wonderful. And so for the students who work with you, do they need to have a specific research focus already, or can they be in the exploratory phase of just trying to, get out there and learn more about research?
So answer is yes, they need to be doing the research within the scope of my area. However, I do cancer research in general, so that's a very broad umbrella to be able to fit in. And I really tell the students that when they're learning how to do research, the area does not matter a whole lot. Once you learn the approach of asking right questions that you can find answers for, and how to go about doing that, essentially the process of answering the question, you can apply the same principles to any other therapeutic area.
Yeah, and so how do you go about encouraging students to get involved with research? And the reason I ask is because we have some students who are very much pro-research and they know right away, I want to get involved regardless of what it is. And for others, they're a little hesitant or they maybe not know the benefits. So how would you encourage students to get involved with research opportunities?
So usually the students come to me with an interest. They're either interested in oncology or they've heard from their previous classmates about being involved in research. For me, I provide opportunities for students to learn and to work with other clinicians and research scientists. But a lot of drive comes from the students. Research is very difficult from the perspective that it requires hard work and persistence. Students usually do data collection and analysis for a year, sometimes two. And it is my job to make sure that they have opportunity to present their research at national and international meetings and also publish a manuscript. Most of the time it ends up being first author manuscripts. And many pharmacy residents and clinical pharmacists even don't have first author publications. So when residency directors see publications on their CV, it speaks a lot about the student. And most of my students get their first choice on residency match. So I think, if you think about that overall perspective, the students can encourage and motivate themselves to pursue research.
Yeah, and you mentioned match rates too, and that's something that we've had very good success with at UHCOP is matching students to their preferred choice for residency. So that helps us a lot too. So that's good to hear, coming from faculty as well. Can you talk a little bit more about what skills will students gain in working in research opportunities?
So I would say that students really should have an interest to learn and willingness to work hard. But it's really true for anything that is worth pursuing, right? You have to have an interest and also have the willingness to work hard. So I think that's what there doesn't, the students do not need to have any specific skill set in order to begin research.
Perfect. And then, Dr. Trivedi, as we kind of close it out, can you speak maybe a little bit more to, we've covered why a student would want to do research, how it, what skills they'll gain or what it takes. Can you talk a little bit about what are some of the benefits for students as they go down the road and pursue their PharmD education, but also career-wise? What are some of the implications and benefits to pursuing research as a PharmD student?
So there are several. So skill set wise, the students learn how to systematically collect clinical data and to some extent analyze them. And depending on the complexity of the analysis, they will work with biostatistician or people with expertise in data analysis. And also they're working with clinicians. If students are really motivated, I have also involved them in study design. So they will have opportunity to work on developing IRB protocols. The students also learn about how to make a research poster, how to write a manuscript. Some students, depending on the availability, I assign them to work on a systematic literature review rather than a research project. But it's also a very important skill to have, and you need to have that in order to build a research program. Now, doing a research overall really broadens students' horizons. They can implement similar principles to finding answers to questions that come from their clinical practice whenever they finish and end up at a practice site. However, I think the biggest advantage may come when they, for the first time, present their research as a poster at international meetings or national meetings. And then they're able to tell others what they have done and why it is important clinically and what it means for the clinical practice. It really builds their confidence. I would like to also emphasize that research is a huge undertaking for students. And I would strongly encourage them to publish, which really shows their true productivity.
That's wonderful. One of the recurring themes in meeting with faculty throughout this project is the ability for students to gain the confidence in themselves, to know that, hey, here's the amount of work that I've put in, not only as a student, but essentially as a professional. When you're doing research, there's a professional aspect to that. And then also from the networking perspective, and not only networking with faculty at your institution, but like you said, when you do research posters and you have an opportunity to speak at multiple conferences or any whether it's 1 or 3 conferences, it goes a long way in building confidence for that student, but also expanding their network and potential opportunities for once they graduate. So thank you. That was really good. If you would, is there anything else that you'd like to add? Any other tidbits? If not, it's okay. We'll cut it out.
I think I've covered. I had made important points I wanted to convey, and I think I've covered all of them in the discussion. But I'll be happy to talk with students. I know in-person meetings are kind of becoming difficult now, but if there is a possibility for even any virtual Q&A session, I will be happy to do that.
That's wonderful. And that might be something that we do down the road, is having online events where students meet with a couple faculty members who are performing research, and allow you guys as faculty and researchers to go out there and really get a little bit more in depth with what it is you do, and maybe essentially you're recruiting them, essentially saying, this is why you might want to do this. So that might be something that we pursue closer to the fall semester, if not in the spring. Right now, we're really working towards getting some more resources for our email recruiting campaigns, as well as our online resources. So just to kind of give you an idea of what we're working on. So there's the faculty research project, which is this one. There's the how to submit your best application. So we're meeting with faculty members and staff from student services to really provide some tips and you know, what is the committee looking for? What will make you stand out as an applicant? So we're really going that direction. And somehow I'm forgetting what the third one is, but there's another. Oh, the third one was a student project for why they chose University of Houston College of Pharmacy. So what went into their decision? What were some of the ebbs and flows of not only what made you choose U of H from our perspective, you know, what, not necessarily what did we do, but what went into your decision making? What was your thought process? So those are the three big ones that we're tackling right now throughout the summer. And we will have all of that ready to go come fall semester. So.
No, you know, research is not everyone's cup of tea. And, you know, although over the years I have seen that number of students who are interested in doing research has increased. And many times I have so many students who come to me for doing a research project. I have to refer them to other people because I just don't have the bandwidth to really accommodate everybody. And I think it is great. However, you know, if working, you know, working just focused on one aspect is not something you are good at, you know, there are many different opportunities in terms of leadership, in terms of getting involved in professional organizations, outreach component. And, you know, you may consider, you know, doing, you know, a few pieces on those as well, because that really also will provide a unique perspective on the, you know, the student successes. And as I said, you know, you have to find, the students will have to find their strength. So, and there are just so many different opportunities. So I think it'll be matching your skill set with what appeals you the most.
Yeah, no, that's really good to know. So